We have to talk about this video right here. There's multiple videos that are popping up online showing a monster in the woods. And some people say that it could be the monster of Sunlderman. Now, there's over 10 videos that have been surfacing, and we're gonna look at all of them today. And then we're also going to show you the latest video that was released just a few days ago. So let's get into it. Here is one of the videos. I don't know where exactly it was filmed, but if you've watched the channel for any amount of time, you've seen these types of videos before. But this guy walks through the forest and he says that he hears some rustling in the bushes. He looks over and there is something walking on two legs. And so he starts following it, and then he gets closer and closer. It starts running off and he follows it. He almost trips. You can see the thing kind of like looking back at him, and then he loses sight of it. But there is definitely something strange going on here. Now he has another video, and in this one you can see his footage here. He has a little camera set up and he is filming from a distance, and there is a log on the ground. But every single time he comes back and checks this log, this thing is sitting on top of it. So he goes away again, and when he comes back, it moves. And now it's standing up on its hind legs. And he comes even closer, so he's getting closer and closer. It's further away, but now you can really see that there is something weird going on. Because if you look very closely, it appears to have a human-like torso, but it's standing on two legs. And then it kind of hunches down. You can't see what it's doing, but it kind of brings itself down to the ground and lays on the log. Again, it kind of looks like a human body, but this thing is covered in hair and it's not supposed to be there. So they have other videos where it kind of runs off. And he said that he saw this many times, this big hairy creature, but here it is right here. He sees it and it stands up on its hind legs, and then it takes off running. He follows it and it leads him all the way out of the forest. Now, eventually he does lose sight of it, so we don't know what happens next. But it does kind of look like a Bigfoot-type Sasquatch kind of creature. Now, that's not necessarily the Sunlderman monster. The Sunlderman monster is said to have more of like an ape-like appearance. So we don't really know what this is, but it's definitely some sort of primate-like creature. And let me know what you think about this one, because in this video, you can clearly see something that is not normal walking through the trees. It's moving through the forest, almost kind of bouncing as it goes along, and then it jumps up on a rock and sits down. Now, what's strange is that it almost looks like it has no tail, like it's a humanoid-type creature with hands and feet that look normal, but it doesn't appear to have a tail. But if you look very closely, it might, or it might not. But there's definitely something strange going on here. And it is sitting up on a rock and it kind of looks around. Another video shows this thing jumping on a rock. And again, you can see that it's got like a human hand right here. Like it's sitting up on two legs and it's got a hand. It looks like it has fur, and then it lets out a scream. It kind of sounds like a Bigfoot-type scream, and this thing takes off. And then he goes to look for it, and he said that he couldn't find it anywhere. And you can see it climbing up this rock here, which is pretty high up. And he said that it was able to jump from tree to tree. This video here is really interesting because you can see something dark moving in the trees. And then it jumps down and it kind of looks like it falls, and then it starts to walk across the road. And it appears to almost be a biped, but it could just be a bear or something else. Now, there are other videos that show it where it is covered in mud, and it looks like it has got a darker colored face. But in this one, you can see it walking through the forest. And it looks like it's got a big foot, like a human foot, but then it has a big toe. So it looks kind of human-like, but not quite human. And then it takes off running. Now, here is another video that was just released within the last few days. And this video was taken in Bulgaria, and you can see it here. It appears to be a big hairy monster covered in mud, You can tell that it's wet and it's dark and dirty. And there's a car driving by and it's got the headlights shining on this thing. But it's definitely covered in hair, and then it takes off and runs away. Now, it is hard to tell how big this thing is because it is covered in mud, and it is dark, and it is nighttime. But you can see it right here. If we zoom in, you can see those bright headlights illuminating this thing. And it's kind of shaking itself off, and then it turns around and runs off into the forest. This video here is said to be from Romania, and you can see that there are these two people who are walking through the forest, and they see this big hairy creature. And it's kind of dark, but it looks like it's covered in mud, and then it takes off and runs away. And this video was actually posted just a few days ago. Now, I don't know if this is the same creature. This is from a different area, and this one looks a little bit different. But if you look at how big this thing is, this is another video that was taken at night. But you can see that it's much larger than the previous video. And it's big and hairy, and it's taking off running. Now, it is hard to tell because it is dark and nighttime, and there is not a lot of light, but you can see it kind of hunching over like a human would. But whatever this thing is, it's definitely not supposed to be there. Another video was posted recently, and this one was filmed in Russia. And you can see this person walking through the woods, and it looks like he is holding an axe. And then he sees this thing come bounding out of the forest. He starts screaming and yelling, and it takes off. But it's hard to tell how big this thing is because it's dark. But it's definitely some sort of wild animal. This is another video that was posted recently. This one was from Hungary, and you can see it right here. It looks like some sort of big hairy monster, very large. And you can see it's kind of trotting along, and there's some houses in the background. And then it kind of looks like it jumps up on this rock. So it's got some sort of primate-like features. It's definitely covered in hair. This video here is from Bulgaria, and this is an older video that was posted recently. And you can see this thing. It looks like it's covered in mud, and it's got a darker face. And then it kind of like climbs up this rock, and it's kind of hunched over. It doesn't really seem to want to move. And you can see that there's the headlights that come on, and then it takes off running. But you can see it's definitely some sort of large, hairy monster. This video here is another one from Bulgaria. And this one looks like it's taken from a trail camera. And you can see that it's got a big hairy body. It looks like it's sitting on a log. And then this is another one that lets out a Bigfoot-like scream, and it takes off running. Now, these videos are interesting. We don't know if they're all from the same place. I believe they were all taken in Eastern Europe somewhere, maybe near Russia, maybe in Romania or Bulgaria. But whatever this thing is, it's definitely some sort of monster. It's probably not the Sunlderman monster, but we do know that there are monsters out there that we don't know about. Now, I don't know if this is a new creature or if these videos have been posted recently, but we wanted to cover this topic because it is always interesting to see these types of videos pop up. Now, please remember to stay updated with all our latest videos. Also, let me know what you think about these videos down below. What do you think about these monsters? Do you think that it could be the Sunlderman monster? Let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.